How's that, mate?
I hear you good.
Yeah. I don't. No feedback this time. Okay, good. I think it finally might have fixed itself. So sorry to everybody who keep kicking you off, but just want to make sure that.
Look, yeah, we have more viewers now, so it's even better that you did that. No.
Just booting them off. No, so that was an awesome video, and I think like parents don't really know that they're doing that, but I thought that was an excellent point, Davor. Something I wanted to add to that was sort of with developing juniors, like I never ask them what the score is, and I never ask them because for me it's all about the performance and not the outcome, and I found that that's really helped my players with their fear of failure, because when they go into a match and they're really thinking about the outcome, and they're so they want to win, you stop focusing on what it takes to give you the best chance to win. And I think if you're worried about your performance and you're worried about, okay, I'm working on my slice serve wide, I'm working on my approach shot, my inside out forehand. When you worry about the performance, the outcomes tend to take care of themselves. And if you can give 100% on that performance and you lose, you can walk away and you can feel great about it. Nadal talks about that all the time. But something that I'll never ask my players, and I tell the parents to do the same thing, is never ask them what the score is. Ask them how they played. And they'll let you know how they played. And if they feel like telling you the score, that's great. But that's just something I adopted because the pressure in tennis, especially junior tennis, is huge. I mean, it's a one-on-one battle out there. And when you lose, you know how bad you feel. It doesn't matter if you lose by 20 points or you lose by 1. You feel really terrible. So you do your best to try and encourage the culture where they're just focused on performance and not outcome. That's really helped me.
Yeah, I love that point. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I talk to my players as well, and then tell them, if you leave everything on the court you have, I always tell them too in front of the parents. That's why it's so important for us coaches, right? So parents, coach, and all the other guys that work with the kids, we are like, that's all the pillars, right? So when I have them all on board, I tell them as well, like, if the kid gives everything they have on court, I tell the kid, your parents will not be upset with you. If you leave everything out there, even if you lose, it does not matter. I'm just saying there are parents, obviously, like 5% still going to say something. We will always have that, right? But 95% will be like, wow, great job, great effort. I love what you do on court. But, they have to learn. That's what I found, too, teaching 22 years now, that the kids have to understand, what is leaving everything on court and what they think they do on court, so and that's why it's so important to have social media too. You can show them videos, you can show them, as you said earlier, Nadal every time on court, giving everything they have, so they get an idea actually what is giving everything they have, right? So the same with the training sessions. A lot of kids always think they do give on court when we give lessons, right? They do think they gave 100%, but actually you as a coach, them, and it's maybe 50% all the time only, right? So to get the kid's mind to understand what 100% is takes a long time as well. I think that's another point that's important.
Yeah, especially with tournaments. I think one of my favorite quotes from Nadal, because he's the mental toughness god, right? It's if he has 60% to give, he's given 100% of that 60%, and I think that's real important. That you go out there, you give 100%. There's no excuses. If you lose, you lose. But it's really performance based is what you're trying to do. And in that same vein, you can develop players' games better because they can go out there and they can work on their approach shots. They're not so worried about the winning or losing or the outcome. And over the course of 6-8 years of development, at the end of it, it makes a huge difference. If you're only worried about winning and losing, you'll moonball, you'll cheat. There's so many shortcuts.
I know. It's with the moonballing too. Like when you have like especially what is it, like 11, 12, 13-year-olds. They say 11, 12, like they get a short ball and half court, they hit a ball back and run back, and then you see like matches as coaches where we watch 4 hours. And I remember one match, like it was cold, really cold, and they played 4 hours, and they short ball, they just hit moonball back, ran back to the baseline. And after that match, I sat the parents and the player down like a day later. I said, look, guys, we will work on approaching. I don't care, because I froze to death right? So now I have to watch it 4 hours. I was like, I don't care what, we're going to work on the transition game.
Yep.
If you miss, you miss. And give me half a year with you, and then let's you know, if you don't want me anymore, fire me. But I promise you, you're gonna be fine. And then, you know, every lesson we had, we worked on it, and it worked. But like, it's as you said, you know, having the confidence, and then that the player knows if I fail in that moment, on the long run, it's gonna be successful.
Yeah, like development. That's it. So we've got a comment here says that is unfortunate in society though too, where they get the idea that they're only good if they win. So that's the culture. You know, you got to change the culture of your juniors. You got to change the culture of your parents. And really, it doesn't. Who cares if you win a 12 and under title, 14 and under title? You know, if you're really trying to be a good tennis player, it's over the course of your whole junior career. You're trying to develop everything. Even the pros trying to get better all the time. So you have to sort of set aside. It's hard, but you got to sort of set aside the outcome a little bit more.
And it plays as well in Joel, like with communication with the parents, right? How transparent you are and how much you talk to the parents. You know, I think that is so important to keep them always involved and take the extra mile to make sure that everybody is on the same page. Yep.
We've got a comment here. What disadvantages do players with single-handed backhands face? You want to take that one?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a single-handed backhand player, and so the biggest, was it disadvantage? Yeah. So the biggest I felt in junior years that I'm a big guy, but I wasn't, like, especially on the return for me. I had problems on the higher returns on the backhand, and especially anyway on any backhand return, I always felt that two-handers have more stability to get that ball to the middle or cross-court back, right? So me as a one-hander in the junior years especially, I had a hard time. I had a hard time to have a consistent return game and get that straight. But when I got stronger, obviously, like with 16, 17, it started to be better. But I still think, unless you're like top of the game, that the two-handers have it a tiny bit easier to get the ball back at least.
I got an interesting story, and it was I started as a one-handed backhand. Love Sampras, rafter. I was a one-hander. And then I had a lot of trouble with high backhands in the ad court corner. And I had a lot of trouble, out wide. So I changed to 2 for stability. It helped me with my return. And then I came over to IMG when I was about 14, 15. And I was on court with Nick Bollettieri. And he wanted to change me back to a 1. And so the 3 weeks that I was at IMG, I was hitting. He was trying to transition me back to a 1. So I was hitting with 2 and finishing with 1, Borg style. So I'm running around Florida playing all these tournaments. Everyone's like, what the hell is this guy trying to bring the Borg backhand back? But the good outcome is it actually helped me coach now because I got 5-6 balls in my hand. I can hit a one-hander. But it was interesting. But yes, the advantages for 2 are definitely stability on return and the higher balls. But one-hander is nice, man. You got a smooth one-hander. It's nice. Your one-hander is good. I've seen your one-hander, man.
I'm getting older, but like when I was young, I liked it a lot. Yeah, I love, like, as I said, that's when Wawrinka swings his one-hander and you can just release it. And if the timing is right and you're in your zone, like, as I said, that's when even for Novak, when Wawrinka like played him in his best days, when he won like against him in the Slam final, like it's just like unstoppable. Like it's amazing.
Yep. What's the training difference between men's and women's tennis players?
That's like, always like the men's and what, like, I don't think, the earlier question too, what do you think the difference between men's and women's tennis? I mean, obviously like the physique, that the guys are stronger, but I don't think, any woman can play the same strategy, like almost like any guy. Like, I don't think there's any, and I think Sarah Jane is on here too. So in general, look, there's just like the guys, most of the guys are just physically stronger and can do sometimes different things. But other than that, the ladies can, strategy-wise or anything, they're at least the same or even better maybe sometimes, so I don't see any.
For sure. That's what Craig said actually yesterday. I was talking to Craig O'Shaughnessy yesterday, and he was just saying the data shows that it's basically all very similar. Strategies are the same. Ball speed is a little bit different. But, other than maybe the details of coaching girls and boys, I coach a lot of junior girls.
Yeah, I have a lot too.
But I think
different challenges.
Yes,
different challenges. And Yeah, and coaching, obviously, like, you know, they go through different phases, and, you know, you have to see where they're in the puberty, and, you know, like, but guys and girls are different, and obviously in that sense, but like on court, you can do the same thing. And even actually, you know what, with my junior girls, they are more open to strategy and new things than the guys, actually. So, like, I have a lot, I do a lot with the girls, and they're good, so.
Yeah, variety really helps if you're a girl. Work on the slice backhand, and it's Barty's slice backhand. It's a thing of beauty. Girls just don't like the slice backhand. You can see that. You go, okay, it's working for her. Maybe that's going to work for me as well. Actually, there's a really top college player at the moment. I think she had I'm getting this wrong, but she has a shoulder injury, so she's serving underhand with a slice and still winning.
Wow.
I got to find out who that is, but. Interesting. Let's take a look at this.
Serving ladies.
How do we suggest we improve our game while at home?
Oh, so how can we improve the game? For me, when you're at home at the moment, depends on which stage of development you are. So if you're a kid, it's all about repetition and doing things the right way, like Craig said and Mark Kovac said in one of my interviews. You know, when you do things, make sure you do it repetitively correct. And whatever you practice at home, if it's shadowing, tossing the ball up, everything helps your game. But just make sure, you know, that's what's the beauty of the cameras in our times. You can record yourself and compare yourself as well to the pros. So that's actually easy nowadays. And as I said, whatever you do, if you toss the ball up and you do it, you can, you know, go in the corner of your house, be next to the wall here and toss it straight up and like do those things. Every little thing you do, I believe for juniors especially and beginner tennis player adults, everything you do and you do technically like it's supposed to be, and you can't go wrong. You can do anything you want at the house. That's my opinion. What do you think?
I think the same. I had 2 major injuries as a junior. I had one stress fractures in my back, and I had another one where I tore my labrum. And so I wasn't allowed to play tennis, so that wasn't anything new to me. So I had basically 2 year-long breaks. And my mentality was just there's always another avenue to get better at the game. There's somewhere else. Like I would read tennis books when I was in a brace and I couldn't even swim. I would work on, if I couldn't run, I'd work on jump rope. Like there were so many other little things that you can do. And my mentality right now, I guess, during this quarantine time for everybody is that almost everyone in the world is stuck at home doing nothing. Yeah. So this is your opportunity to gain an advantage. Anything that you can do. If you've got a tennis court, access to a tennis court, you're getting in reps of serves, whatever you can do, more than your competition is somewhere else. Like it's a real... In a sense, it's an opportunity for you if you're a junior or even an adult player to do everything that you can to work on getting better. It's just how you think about it. You know, I think that's the mentality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you.
Let's see. So
I like it. Your people ask a lot of questions. I like that.
Yeah, we had a lot of questions yesterday as well. The toss of the serve can go haywire quickly. Do you have some fundamental tips for us? Just how you hold the ball, a zillion ways to hold it, for instance. I'm a big believer in keeping it as simple as possible. I like to start the toss at the hip, keep the wrist straight, keep the elbow straight, and then feel that your shoulder, your deltoid, is taking the ball up. And you're always just going to release it, you know, between your eye level and the top of your head. But if you can cut out the dropping the ball too far, and if you can keep your wrist and your elbow locked, you can basically keep the same toss every time. Great time to work on your ball toss. You don't even need to hit the ball.
Yeah, I like that. I like that, Joel. And then what I tell my players, what I saw a while ago in one of the Tennis House videos a year or 2 ago, you know, that you just think, like you said, it comes from the shoulder, right? So, and then think that your whole arm is in the cast. That was like something that clicked for a lot of my players. You know, when you extend your arm out, like, you know, think about it from the shoulder to your wrist here, that everything is in the cast. Yep. And that you basically, your shoulder places. And I don't like the term toss as well. Yep. I like more when we talk about placement. So, so place that ball up and then use your arm as it is in a cast. So that works with my junior players pretty good.
the other thing for the toss for me as well is that I don't necessarily love a ball toss that is too high. Some people like it higher than others, but some people will toss the ball higher and then still contact it at less than extension. I think it's really important that you find a toss height that gives you enough time to come through your action, but you can still hit it at extension. And you're finding a lot of these next gen guys are lower tosses. It's a little bit harder to read. It's not as variable in the wind or tough conditions. And they're hitting it much closer to like where the ball is almost stopping in the air and heading the other way. Like Kyrgios is the example. He's hitting a ball that is basically almost stationary.
Yeah, I saw that firsthand when I went to Delray Beach to watch my friends play there. I have a lot of good footage. If you ever need something too from him, I recorded so much there. Like I can send you like with the serving as well, as you said. He tosses it up and it's flawless motion, no stop, fluent, boom, and then he amazing what he does with the serve.
Makes it so hard to read that as well.
Yes,
much harder to read the faster action. Let's see.
Indonesia. We have like the whole word on here, Joel.
Hey, Amanda. Amanda Fink. She's a big USPTA advocate here in San Diego. She's awesome.
Yeah. And actually, speaking about San Diego, I had a couple of friends who studied there at the San Diego State University, and it's they are like that was 2008 when I have been there. It's really nice. Like I like San Diego. I just had to actually, there's a guy like Emilio Gomez. He qualified for Del Rey, and I saw him there and chatted with him. His brother Juan played for San Diego State University in 2008, and they had a really good team at that time. And my friend from Germany, Tim Schultz von Endert, he just posted yesterday a really cool post where you have the team. You know how you guys do in a college, the circle, and and everybody's there. And he was just reminding all of us that we're all in this together, and that's what he learned out of this college years to work as a team. So I think that was a brilliant post, and that's what I love about college tennis.
Yeah, that was awesome. My college experience was great as well. We got a question here. Can you suggest some books and some coaching courses for tennis coaches to learn more about technique, tactical, mental, and physical part of tennis? So I know that if you're there's a ton of books. If you are a USPTA member, we got a email saying that tennisresources.com has opened up all of the courses for free. So if you need educational credit, you can go on tennisresources.com, and also George Capistrani's tennisdrills.net, I believe. All his drills as well are free until the end of April. So it's probably a good time to do that. I know we're all sitting around trying to look for things to do.
Yeah, I like that. That's true. And then and the best thing you can do is go to Joel Myers Tennis and Tennis House and watch our videos. Yeah. Reading is good. Obviously, we all read like hundreds and hundreds of books, but I think visual is important as well. Obviously, right? So I think a lot of you guys, make sure that you get both in the reading and watch a lot of videos as well, because then you can see actually what's happening.
With phones and being able to show players like on the spot, slow motion, exactly what's going on, it's changed everything. You can describe to your players 30 different ways why their elbow is too close to the body on the serve, but until they see it, they don't really get it. And so I remember doing video work when I was a kid, and this was at Pat Cash's Academy, where we did a video day, and then maybe 2.5 weeks later, it was like, hey guys, time to look at your video. And we'd have our little half-an-hour segment, and it helped me so much. But to be able to, like right now, go, okay, you're going to hit a serve, look, you're not doing this, and you show them right away, and they go, oh man, like that's not anything like how I felt. I thought I was exaggerating. You're like, no,
exactly.
That's what I want. Really exaggerate. And then when I'm changing technique with somebody, and it's something as new, when you say, exaggerate it, and they exaggerate it, they'll go away and practice. And I say, as soon as it starts to feel good, exaggerate it again, because you're starting to come back into the neural pathway that you had before. So it's interesting.
Now, and what you talking earlier about juniors and puberty, I have a couple of players I teach every day, right? And then talking about this now, And you know, on the back end, for example, you know, they're like, I said, you need to follow through and finish. You know, go out as long as you can, and then go up. And then they're telling me, I follow through, and they go windshield, right? And I was like, you do not. Yes, I know I'm doing it, you know. And then when they see it, everybody is shocked. That's what you said, you know, like oh my God, I really do it. And then actually, in most of the cases, it clicks. So that's why the video analysis. And then for all of you parents out there that are watching me and Joel right now, you know, you have several options. You can use Coach's Eye. It's a cheap app. You know, like, you know, we don't get paid for saying all those things. I just want to make sure that everybody is using good stuff. Dartfish, Coach's Eye, Huddle. Like there are a couple of really, really easy apps you can download, and you can compare your player or your child or whoever it is with the pro player. And I personally use Coach's Eye a lot. It's simple and easy. Dartfish as well, obviously. And it just helps so much. You know, you as a parent learn as well. This is the thing. That's what we do every day. Joel and I, we watch every day videos of pros. You know, you ask us, what is Sabalenka doing? And we can imitate the motion because we have to stay on top of the game. And for parents, it's important that didn't have the tennis background. As more you guys do that, as more you will learn about the game and understand more about the tennis techniques, you know?
Yes, for sure. This question's come up a couple of times. What is the worst damage that a tennis player can have? I mean, that has to be an injury, right? Like, there are probably 1,000.
What's the worst? Like, wait, is it the mental damage or is it the injury?
I don't know. I played a kid once who, after the match, he threw all 4 of his Prince rackets into a canyon, never played again. His mother was screaming, "Don't do it, don't do it." He took one out over into the canyon. 2, 3, 4. That's probably the worst mental damage I've ever seen.
No, I have the same experience. I played a future in Croatia, and there was a guy named Roko Karanusic, was like top 10 in the world in juniors, and he lost the match on the main court. And in Croatia, in Porridge, where the tournament was, it was right to the ocean.
Yep.
And he threw all his rackets in the ocean.
Oh man.
That's funny. Tennis players sometimes have a couple of problems, but they're good. They're good problems.
That's very true.
You can get injury by breaking your racket. Yes, you can. You should do it right. If you no one should throw the rackets.
No, it's not good.
Not good.
No, parents should punish you. Don't let you play. Yeah. Necessary skills for juniors. What necessary skills do you think juniors should be developing?
That's a good one. Skills for sure. Like I would say, like skills wise, you have different areas. So the mental part obviously is important, right? So I think skill wise, all my good juniors I have, they're very open minded and they like to ask questions. You know, like learning about yourself, and not being shy to ask questions about things and getting better, and the mental approach. And then what else? I mean, technical skills are important. I mean, like, you know, for me, it's so important to set the foundation technically in early years, so it becomes repetitive, and the kids don't have to worry about, hey, you take back is too crazy on the forehand or you swing on the you know, as soon as you get the player to where everything is technically sound, the tennis world opens up in so many ways, and you can do whatever you want. You can do serve +1, you can do different strategies, you know, bringing a player in with a drop shot and lob him. There are millions and millions of things that open up technically. And then skill wise, I just think I love kids that are, as I said, open-minded and ask. Like Craig O'Shaughnessy said that Novak is like a little boy. He asked millions of questions, and he's #1 in the world, right? So he always wants to get better. And I think the social part is important for the kids as well, to know how to deal with loss and win, and that's why we are there to guiding them. You know, that they just in general that the kids understand themselves and learn about themselves to be independent on the court at some point. I think that's so important, you know. Yeah,
definitely. I think something that really changed, like the mental aspect, I think people ask some questions about the mental aspect, is that 55% rule. You know, if you win a match 6-3, 6-3, typically you've won 55% of the points. So if you remind your players that, you're gonna, in a great day is 6-3, 6-3. I'd take that any day. You're gonna lose 45% of the points, and you have to be okay with that. You can't be on the roller coaster of win one and be elated, and lose one and be devastated. You have to be even keel, understand what's winning and losing, and from that mental standpoint, you're going to be okay. But there's ebbs and flows in matches, and you have to be able to sort of understand that it's not always going to go your way. You've got to understand what scores are important. You know, like a 40 love point, you understand the score. It's not as important to, you know, either of you unless it's a big game. But it's like playing to the score, understanding the percentages a little bit, and just relaxing, taking your time. But I think with juniors, once they can start to develop some primary patterns, they can go to those when the points are big. I know a lot of juniors, and even from my experience, they come up to the line on a big point. They haven't thought it through at all. They serve the ball in, they return it in, and it's just sort of see what happens. And then they'll lose that point. They come away from the match saying, I had a match point. And I couldn't convert it. Am I mentally weak? No, you didn't have a plan. So, you know, even if you had a terrible plan and you executed it poorly, at least you're thinking in terms of that. And over the course of your career, that's what will really help.
And that's so important, like what you say, to have a quality guidance. Like, you know, I would give my son to you because I saw you coaching, and you know, you need someone who understands that and guides you through that. That's why it's important that we do all the continuing education, that we talk and communicate all with each other, that we have accounts like yours, that, you know, that is so important. You know, if there's no one to teach the kids, like you said, you know, 55 out of 100, 45 out of 100 points I will lose, you know, during a 6-3, 6-3. 45 out of 100, that's a lot. So, you know, like just knowing those things and having guidance is crucial. Yeah,
honestly, that's just basically luck and research. I mean, I'm just sort of like thirsty to learn everything I can constantly. And I feel like, you know, I had no idea. I played at a very good level of tennis. I had no idea that 3 and 3 is 55% of the points. If you win 0-0, it's 70%. But it's crazy. I choke on match points while playing or on crucial points. How do you improve it during practice? It's pretty tough.
Patterns. Practice those patterns. Like, you know, like, and then it's all like we learned, right? Serve and return. It's 50% of the game, right? So, and then that's what I started in young years as well. Those patterns, serve +1, where do I want to go with the ball? Where do I return the ball? If you train that every single day, and then, you know, Joel and I teach so many juniors. I mean, what is the biggest thing the kids do not do on a weak second serve? They don't take advantage of those, right? So, for example, you know, so those are things you can change as a player. You go out there and serve, practice the slicer wide on the deuce side, and then move a little bit over to the C area a tiny bit, and you get the next ball on the forehand. Those things, if you do that on a daily basis, you'll be fine. You have to repeat those things.
And they're habits that you train. You know, you train that. You know, it's like a free throw or, you know, something like that in another sport. Once you've practiced it enough that you trust it, you can go into a pressure situation. You go, you know, I've done this so many times. I trust this so much. There was a really great interview with Kobe Bryant. That was a long time ago now, after he scored 81 points. And they were asking him, you know, how were you able to score 81 points? And he goes, all of my practice is literally in-game practice. I take in-game shots. He goes, I don't run around and do practice shots. He goes, I've done these, you know, 1,000 times. This is what I expect. So when I go out there to do it, it's not tough for me. I'm not considering it clutch. I consider it the fruits of the work that I put in, and I put it in at a match speed. And I think that's important. So when we train patterns and we train things in practice, I like to do games where there's a little bit of pressure on it. You know, so it just keeps them understanding that, you know, one miss is 1 point loss. But I think that's just training patterns. It develops confidence.
And then one more thing, Joel, if I can say that still, like on the serve, you know, that's the only shot where you decide you have a certain amount of time to start the serve. What is it, 25 seconds?
Yep.
Or like
20 something.
Something. You're in your own world, and you have all the times in the world to execute that shot. And then when you practice the serve, for example, it doesn't matter. That's what I tell people. If you play in front of 10,000 people, or if you're alone on the court, it's the same motion.
Same
and
action.
that's the only shot where you can blend everything out, and that you can feel actually confident because you've done that millions of times. And then, that's what my coaches always told me. It doesn't matter if you're in front of 10,000 or if you're alone out there. The serve is the only shot where you have time to start and do not under pressure.
Yeah.
Like to react on something.
100%. Only one you can control. Yeah, I wrote an article on WordPress once. So there's only two things you can control is your serve and your attitude.
Yes.
That's about it. Everything else is a variable. Talking about juniors again, every parent, every junior wants to always train with somebody that is better than them. And, if it's a clinic or it's a group, everybody wants to be in the top. Nobody wants to practice with somebody that's below them. And many players don't want to practice with anyone that is level with them. But I think, in my opinion, you have to have a blend of all three. You've got to have somebody that is going to beat you real bad.
Yeah.
You're going to have somebody who tests you. It's a battle. And you're going to have someone else that you can beat up on pretty bad and practice things that you wouldn't necessarily do, like if you're a junior, a serve and volley. So I think for parents and maybe players watching, encourage you to play matches against everybody. Even if they're weaker than you, go and practice, try different things. Maybe you play the whole match with a slice backhand. Maybe, you take your backhand as your weapon instead of your forehand. There's so many things that you can do. But
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so true. And I love how you have it in those three. The people you get beaten easy, the people who are on your level, and you have to fight through, and the people you beat easy. And then a lot of parents don't understand the most confidence that I ever got out of when I was playing. I wanted this always. I played always against the guys I lost, and I always wanted to find a way to beat them. The first time you beat a guy you always lost to, and you change your game and you adapt it, that makes you feel like you're on cloud number 9 and you have a good run the next tournaments. I just tell everybody this is the biggest achievement you can do. Novak had to adjust to Rafa, right? Federer had to adjust to Rafa. Federer had to adjust to Novak. They're all doing those things. And if you play down, actually, what happens in the first rounds of a tournament? You don't play the 2 seed or 3 or 4 seed. You have to work your way up in a tournament. That's why I tell my parents always, guys, your kid is like here. Let them play kids that are here, because that happens in the first rounds of a tournament.
For sure.
You don't.
And you don't play well in the first rounds. Typically, it's a little nervy. You're trying to feel the court out. It's a new venue. It's a new location. You have no idea who you're playing. So, I agree. So someone wrote, correct, think about Rogers trainers with top juniors in the world, lower ranked players on tour and top college players. I also think that those guys like to play and train with those juniors and college guys, because if I'm Roger, I'm going to say, you do whatever I want to do. And you're going to give 120% because I'm Roger Federer. So they can be the puppet master to all of those guys. So I think that's one of the reasons why they do that.
And another reason, I have a friend, Ante Pavic, who's like top 100 in doubles. He just went before Indian Wells got canceled. He flew over there. He trained with Novak because they're old friends. That's another thing, like when the players have like friends out there, they don't forget, and they still hit with them. That's nice to see as well.
It's always interesting to see that the women don't practice with each other as much. Have you noticed, like, there's a lot of guy hitting partners? The men's guys, they'll go out and find each other and train with. The women don't do it. Typically, they'll find a guy practice partner. Yeah, I think that's interesting.
It is interesting. I don't know. I don't have that answer to that either. But you're right. It's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
What else did I have here? We have a lot of pro players here that are playing doubles, or that'll watch this playing doubles. Let's talk a little bit about USTA doubles and doubles leagues. Do we have any, I'm sure we both have opinions on that. Let's give people some tips on doubles. Like USTA, what level? Yeah, let's say between 2-5? Let's say between 3-0 and 4-5, because I think I've sort of put them, generally their strategies in similar category. That was a good one. So I train a lot of 3-5, 3-0, and 4-0 ladies as well. And then in any doubles, I think it doesn't matter if it's like men's or women's doubles. The return
is so important, that you keep that ball away from the net person and you do not miss that return under any circumstances, you know. So I think I practice a lot with my ladies, the return. Then like different scenarios, you know, that the net player, you know, learns how to move forward and backward, depends on where the ball is, right? So when, let's say you're at the net and your partner's at the baseline, so when your partner hits a cross-court ball, that passes the other person at the net first, you know, and that you make sure that you close the gap you have between you and your partner. And then when the other player hits the ball, that you move in forward and try to intercept that ball, and that you have the movement as a net player always going forward and backward according to where the ball is. You know, lobbing over a second serve, especially in ladies tennis, that's a good weapon. Yes. And then a lot of players always, so I'm very, very, very big with angles. So especially in the lower, like let's say even like till up to 4-0, let's say 2-5, 3-0, 3-5. So all those players, when we always say, coaches say, hit the ball deep, right? Yep. So they cannot hit the ball deep like Federer or Djokovic, right? That's what people always forget, right? So if you go as a 2-5, 3-0, even 3-5 player, if you hit the ball deep, you will get lobbed most likely. So, you know, like especially like in the ladies tennis and even the men's tennis, it's always lob, and then you don't know what. So I always teach my players, if I can, like hitting angles, making the people feel uncomfortable on the court and changing. You know, there's Faisal, our USPTA president, he always says peanut butter sandwich, you know, court positioning for peep. Okay. And then butter is balance, and the sandwich is like the strike zone. So you try to get your opponent out of balance, position, and strike zone. So, you know, strike zone is if the ball is too high or too low, you know, you have an advantage, right? And then the position where you position on the court, and the balance, you know, where you hit the ball, how balanced you're on. He always says if 2 out of the 3 are good for you, then you can move in a little bit. But that's what I always use. But angles and hitting the ball shorter, and you don't need to hit hard and deep back because you're going to get lobbed. That's like that's the first thing I teach my players. And then just being, you know, like little things, even like beginners, intermediate, or advanced players, does not matter. You know, I'm trying to make the ladies understand the dynamics of the court. So if you serve more to the tee, you know, they can start forgetting a little bit about the doubles area, right? So they can shrink the court because 75% go through the middle. Yes. So, you know, the serve placement a little bit, serve more to the tee or the body. Yep. I mean, there are millions of tips you can give players, but the biggest thing for me is, as I said, do not miss any returns on any level. Yes. And beginner player or intermediate player, try to find angles, you know, like and try to move your players around a little bit. Yeah, and they don't have to be hard angles. That's you know, it doesn't have to be hard. Doesn't have to be anything hard, because if players run even 2-3 yards forward, they're already like, everybody hates playing at the beginner intermediate level. Everybody hates running forward. Everything that's forward, they're struggling with. Everything that's lateral, they like. And everything that's backwards, they like as well, because they just lob the ball back, right? Easy to lob. That's going forward is tough. And, you know, there's one important thing for me as well, and I really want to let that out. So, you know, a lot of players, they do a lot of clinics, but a lot of players forget the technical part of the game, right? So talking about the forehand grip, like when they volley, right? So if they have a Western grip, they cannot hit low volleys. I mean, that's just physically not possible. So you do not have, we have players, and we're not going to change your grip perfect to a continental the first day. But what I think is that you can gradually over time switch them a little bit over, even if they have a strong Eastern, I don't care. But then so many players, always ladies that come to me and say, oh my God, I miss all the low balls. Yes, because you have a Western grip on the volley. How do you want to hit low volley, you know? And then that's why they stand so close to the net, because they don't want to get low balls and then they get lobbed. So it's all a spiral. And I think, you know, like with the right guidance, there's a lot of, that's why I love teaching doubles. And you know what, one thing, in Australia, I know you guys, doubles is like the highest thing. And I love that. And in Germany, where I'm from, doubles was never big, you know, like, so I had to learn everything when I came to the States 10 years ago. And I fell in love with doubles because it is, it's art for me, because there's so many things to it, you know. And I love the Tennis Channel all those guys, if you're listening to us, like, we love that you show more on TV as well now, because America, and for me and Joel, we teach a lot of guys and ladies who are 2-5-3-0, 3-5-4-0, right? So that's what it's all about here, you know. So show it more and open your minds more to doubles, because it's a beautiful, beautiful art. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's awesome, man. Like, I remember McEnroe used to play doubles for his practice. He didn't like to practice, so doubles matches were his practice matches. Yeah. But yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. What was I going to ask you next? All right, so this is just a hypothetical. I wrote this down because I thought it'd be fun. What is your perfect tennis player? Perfect tennis player. Going like serve, first serve, second serve, forehand, backhand, volley, return, and mental toughness. All right, so let's say second serve, kick, jack sock. like jack sock, or like, isn't there like one of the two? The same for first serve. Opelka, Karlovic, Sampras. Like, I will always name you a couple because it's hard to break. I watched Opelka on Del Rey. It's like, whoa. I was like, whoa. I saw Isner a couple of times. And obviously, like, Sampras had, for me, like, I mean, Sampras had one of the most amazing serves. Goran Ivanisevic as well. Yes. Return, I would go with Joker and Agassi. And who else I loved was Kafelnikov. And like, you know, people always forget about him, but I love the way he returned. Backhand. Yeah, backhand. Like, two-hander Novak, one-hander. I mean, Wawrinka, when he's on, I'd probably take when that. He's on, it's like it's over. Forehand. Nadal, I would say, because of the spin rate and Nadal, and I mean, Federer, Nadal, I'll put Nadal first. And who else I like was Fernando Gonzalez. Fernando Gonzalez had an absolute cannon. Man, I saw that live a couple of times, and then the same with Bautista Agut. Like, that guy, I went to the US Open, and I was like just a couple of feet away, and I was unbelievable what I saw. I thought I can hit the ball fast. Man. And then I took everything back. I feel like that guy absolutely never misses a +1 after the serve. Like, he doesn't have a huge serve, but he immediately redirects you. Immediately you're on defense, and it's not massive, but he never misses it. Like, he never misses it. No, and then, you know, I was watching, since I'm friends with Cilic, and I was watching Cilic against Bautista Agut, and the first set at the Australian Open, Cilic lost 7-6, and he had set point, but Bautista Agut, he missed 2 balls, and you know how they hit the ball. So I've never seen a set. Yeah. They were like banging the ball with 100 miles an hour, and they didn't miss. I was like, whoa, and I was so sure he's going to lose that match, so I went to sleep, and then I wake up and I see Marin wins that in 4 sets. I was like, no way, Bautista missed 2 balls the whole match, you know. So the whole set, that was crazy. No, and then what else do we have? Volleys. There's a question: who's the best volleyer of all time, in your opinion? Tough question. Listen, that's a tough one. I mean, the older generations, we had so many good volleyers. Man, this is just a tough one to answer. What I personally loved to watch was Edberg and Rafter. Yep. That was like kind of my time. The times before, we had amazing volleyers, but like, speaking about my time, because I feel comfortable, because I watched a lot of matches, I would say like Rafter and Edberg, like those guys, like unbelievable, like what they did at the net, you know. Rafter's athleticism at the net was insane, and how low he is, and how just. So and then the backhand overhead when we go to that Rafter, backhand smash. It bounced it over your head and it's gone. Yeah. I remember watching Tony Roach. I grew up training at Melbourne Park, so where the Australian Open is. And I got to see Rafter train and Agassi train and Hewitt and everybody train. And one of the craziest things that I ever saw was Rafter doing overhead low volley. So you touch the net, you go back for an overhead, you can't let the volley ever touch the ground. And he would do sets of 50. And so you know when you do 10 and you just absolutely done. Yes. Set of 50. And Roach is feeding a baseline lob, and then he's feeding a bloody drop shot.
and Rafter is getting everything out of the air. It's insane. I couldn't believe it. I was like, that is just next level. But it was funny because he grew up, he didn't have a great success as a junior because all through juniors he was learning his craft. He was learning to serve and volley. And it only came together once he became more athletic and he really fine-tuned it. But it's interesting because it was a skill that he had to lose in order to get good. And juniors are going to have to do the same thing with certain things.
And then, not like for the ladies, Justino now one-handed backhand. I mean, that was a beauty to watch. Yeah. And I still show videos. I love her one-hander, and then second serve, kick serve. Talking about Australia, women's Stoser.
Stoser, massive kicker. Yeah, she was at Cash's Academy. Some high point performance, Pat Cash. I actually got to play Pat Cash when I was 15, and I've never seen anybody put away a first volley like him. It was just unbelievable. Just like you couldn't get the ball to hit the ground. It's like you cannot hit a return that's going to hit the ground. The guy takes it out of the air and it was gone.
That when you experience those things firsthand, it's even more like mind blowing, right? Like when I saw Nadal playing Moya in Hamburg, I grew up in Germany, and his first big tournament when we was 15 or 16 when he played Moya, I was like, whoa! When you see that firsthand, what a 15, 16-year-old can do. Like, that was mind-blowing, Like, and as you said, when you saw, like, the overhead smashes over the fence 100 times, like, I know, like, it's crazy. It's crazy,
Yeah, superhero stuff.
Ivan Lendl, all-around best overall player?
Obviously great player, but I wouldn't give him all-around best player.
I think our generation, we are spoiled with Federer, Djokovic, and Nadal.
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
He's the all-time best, crush the guy at the net. Just light him up.
Yeah.
That was the best. That one with McEnroe was great. I remember seeing recently, I think it was Wawrinka Del Potro, and Del Potro comes into the net, and somehow Wawrinka gets a short ball and tries to just light up Delpo, and it brings Wawrinka into the net, that shot, and that shot that he tries to crush Delpo with hits the tape and pops up. And Wawrinka's now in a position where he's screwed because he's 6 feet away from the net. And you see Delpo wind up and you go, his life's over. And Del Potro's too nice, man. He just put it away. And I was like, if it was me, I would just 100% go for the win.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
For all the young kids, earmuffs on for a second.
Yeah, right. No, I don't condone the tube.
Funny, man.
Yeah.
Joel, it's so cool. It's nice to be with you on. It's people are like, I like this one a lot because I don't know when I started a year ago on Instagram. I started on Facebook first with my tennis house 4 years ago, and it was more like the very community, and we were writing a lot and still doing it. But like I shifted to Instagram, and I just wanted to say that too. It's so cool. Like you and me. Fabio from Functional Tennis, then Ryan from 2-Minute Tennis, and then all those guys, Brian Dobble. That it's like a little family,
like it's cool.
It's so cool how everybody's holding together and shares things, and there's no, I wish you 10 billion followers, like the people never understand that, it's all about working together, and in our industry as well. That's why I say that, that's why I started Tennis House, because. And where I'm from, everybody thinks they know each other. They know everything. That's what I said. They know everything, but and they don't. In the worst is then they think they know everything, and then they don't share. So that's why for me it is so important that you can learn from anybody. Yeah. That if you stay open minded. I mean, look, I get drills from parts of the world I didn't even know that I didn't even know they have soil on the ground, and then you get the best drills from them, I was like, whoa. Yep. So that opened my mind as well a little bit, and that's why I'm saying it's so important what you do. I love your content, man. You're an excellent coach. It's a different world now, it's really changed, and so you're just trying to embrace it, but keep learning. That's the biggest thing, I think. You just got to keep learning. For me, I don't know anything, and things are going to change, and hopefully I'm still open to change as well. And if there's something that I can help my players with, and then I'll do it. Did you read that one with the Roland Garros? No, I didn't. What was it? They were asking. hey guys, what you take on the Roland Garros rescheduling? I think it's they just put it where the Laver Cup is, right? So
do we know what's going to happen with that yet?
No, and I just know when Oliver Murat, my friend, who's a good double, but I mean good, he won the Australian Open 218.
Yeah,
and
pretty good.
So he's a they didn't even let anyone know. They just rescheduled it. That's what is crazy about. They just rescheduled it during the Laver. And then if the situation gets better, my brother actually lives in Boston. I was looking forward to go there, and now with the French Open, it's not going to affect us in the US here because I'm saying if a handful can only afford to go and fly to Paris and watch it, right? So,
sure.
But still, the people, it's still I don't know. I don't think it's good what they did, how they did it. And I think that comes back to communication again,
For sure. I don't know if Laver Cup players, are they contracted?
Don't know.
Because
I don't
that
know
would
either.
would be, there'd be some stuff going on legally there if you're contracted, but you also want to play Roland Garros. I don't know how it works.
That's a tough one, yeah.
Bang. Question, Federer's forehand or Delpo's? I would take Federer's because a little more variety.
Right. That's what I would answer to. Like he can do a little bit more power-wise, Delpo, taking the ball in front and at Delpo, but Federer can just hit the angles and is more flexible with things that come to him.
I think it was a couple of years ago, one of the stats at the US Open was Del Potro hit, I think it was 87% of his backhands cross-court, throughout the tournament. I was just like, that's how much people fear the forehand. Because they go cross-court all day and risk the runaround rather than go to the juice side and let him just burn you. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
imagine that. He's going to hit 87 backhands out of 100 cross-court, and there's nothing you can do about it. He's going to stay over in the ad court, and the second that he can run around, he's going to unleash the cannon, and if he runs into the juice court, he'll unleash the cannon. That's
what I want to say. The forehand on the run is one of the best we ever seen. From Delpo, I love his forehand on the run is unreal.
Yeah, I just think Federer with the different surfaces and the variety of spins that he can use. I'm really impressed though when Delpo gets pressured on his forehand in on a low one on grass with that continental grip and the big high open face racket take back. It's sometimes you don't think you're going to get it in. He does it. So but it's I think that's a good thing to bring up. If you have a shot that is technically not optimal, but it's really great.
Yes.
You don't have to change it.
No, I agree. And it's a good message for coaches too.
Yes. Yeah, just because it doesn't have to all look the same, if a lot of things people can't do sometimes something is a bit funky, but it's excellent. Look at McEnroe's serve is one. I put a post up a while ago on that. Becker landing on the right foot and the serve and volley, that was odd.
Oh yeah, because I saw that a while ago too. Yeah, he served and landed on the right and was able to run straight forward. Crazy, I saw that a while ago too.
But it doesn't have to be perfect. Because if it's working, then it can be okay.
Yeah, and the same for 2-5, 3-0, 3-5 players. You know, if it's not, and then you have to always watch the age and the level and where they are in life. And that's why what I like so much about. I talked yesterday to Kevin O'Neill, who is Katie McNally's coach, and how he always says find out about your player, empathy. Go dig deep there and change only what's within reasonable parameters, right? And then that's why I like, if I can say that too, Dr. Sean Gray, Greg Rose, and Salzenstein with the Racket Fit. They do. I think it's a cool approach to see your physical limitations, and especially for adult. I think especially if juniors as well, obviously, but adult players too. I have so many adults that are a little bit older. And they might not be able to pronate, or they might not be able to turn physically because of their limitations. And you tell them, you have to go up and spin and kick, but they can't actually do it. So
for sure. Or your older player that can't split step, you get it. What can you do? Does something needs to be improved? How much can you improve it? What are their goals? It just has to be very flexible. I want to ask about how can being a good coach and the best steps about that. Just be open and learn as much as you can. And then do whatever you can to help your student. It's more about them. Go ask them what they need from you, and work from there. If you get a new lesson, you know, how can I help you? What do you want from me? And then from there, work on that.
And be open to new things.
For sure.
I like that advice. Hi from Poland.
Nice.
Cześć, kolega.
Oh, mate, you speak it.
Jak się masz? Jak się masz? Wszystko dobrze? No, I speak a little bit. My long-term coach was from Poland, and yeah, good memories.
Oh,
good
nice.
memories. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
he
such
said feeling good.
Yeah, such an advantage in the tennis world to be able to speak more than one language.
Yeah, I wish actually.
Yeah.
I wish the same club I have and the same people around me would be in the Florida area, like more that I would have more international connections. I would teach in different languages. That would be fun.
Oh, it would be cool. Yeah, I speak English and bad English. That's about it.
You speak great tennis coaching. That's what it's important, you know.
I guess yeah.
As I said, I absolutely love your content, you know. And then you married?
Yes.
Yeah,
yep.
so
Married to an American.
We are lucky that our wives let us do that. I wanted to say that for for both of us. You know, thank you to our wives, because that didn't divorce us yet, because it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time.
We're at the courts a lot, you know. Often 8 o'clock to 7:30 at night, so it's a lot. But I recently, last year, I did take the weekends off, so it changed for me a little bit. So I get a little bit more love now, because I'm not there on the weekend.
I will try to do that in the future as well, to take at least the Sunday off.
Yeah, I mean, you got to. But dude, awesome talking to you, man. I think we've been on here for a while, so we might be might be getting to the end of it. But it was really great talking to you. Love your content and stuff, and you're doing a good thing trying to connect everyone to the community. You're a really genuine guy.
Thank you, man. Same to you. If you ever need anything, don't hesitate to contact me. You know that. And and then if you ever need videos for stuff, players, I'll send you everything over, because as I said, the few really good guys we have, they need to get the word out. So thanks for everything, Joel, you do for the tennis community. And we stay connected as always.
That's right. All right, well, have a good day, mate.
You too, mate. Thanks for everything.
Bye.